How's it going, everybody? I'm Fatty Q and I am back with another final table video. This time a first for YouTube anyway, real money. This was a $1 PLO8 tournament. I said was a $1 PLO8 tournament. It still is. And I'm giddy because I am at the final table, hopefully going to do well. Here's a pretty good start. $95, almost $96 for first. It's pretty good. Prize pool's a lot better than the flop is for my hand. Really hasn't called the 3-bet and then nothing. Nah, dang. I'm chip leader right now. I won a massive pot. I boomed it actually, if you want to go look it up. Of just a crazy hand. The guy went bananas with 2 pair and I had the nuts and it held on the flop. It's great stuff. Surprisingly, there hasn't been a lot of multi-way pots recently, so this is kind of bizarre. Oh, there you go. Gladly check this back. May have to run out the low to win any of this. Maybe worth a stab now if he has middle cards and he just defended super wide, I suppose. Not now, I'm gonna check this back. Wow, my ace was good. I'll bring that up in a second. You're saying in the chat, 5 Canada. There's 5 Canadians. That's awesome. It's kind of funny that the hand replayer is in table theme I'm not using, but whatever. So he defended with 10-10-8-6, which is fine. Okay, I guess he floated the turn. He's got an underpair to 3 of the cards on the board. It's kind of weird. I feel like I said undercard. I definitely meant underpair. This guy, King Money Stars, he's been causing mayhem. We played a whole bunch of hands together when there was like 2 or 3 tables left. They were like 3 seats to my left, but we still somehow found a way to keep getting involved, and thankfully the pot stayed small because they've had a ton of chips since forever. Flop a flush draw and not a whole lot else. I don't really want to bet it because it's only jack high, plus they could definitely slow play an 8. So hopefully I hit the draw. Let me check it again. Pretty fast. I'm not sure if they've given up or if they're still slow playing though. And double the minimum. I guess I'm going to call this. I don't mind calling this off. Just to see their cards even. Yeah, I did have the 8. Thought about playing this actually, but oh dang. Especially because I'm really deep. There hasn't been a lot of 3-betting with any of these players as they look around the table. I would have had quads. But one down. Definitely a bummer. This Santa font, the player in blue to my right here. I mean, the pay jump from 9th to 8th is just under $3, but pretty good for having 2.5 big blinds. You have to think there's got to be some more slow playing going on here. Somebody's got to have a Broadway card that hit part of this. I still think he had something. Short stack gets it in. Thankfully there's a side pot because we flop pretty well here. But if they yell at me for betting, I really don't care. They call off at. Maybe they're chasing a low and a high card would come, that'd be great. I have the second nuts unless he's got 5-5. But I'll say this is in my favor so far. And oh, he rivered the ace flush and it's no good, but he won the low. I probably should have bet that. Was it the turn? Probably should have bet it smaller. Right? Yeah. Especially if they were chasing the low. A smaller bet may have got them to stay around, but oh well. Pretty good pot odds. Hopefully King Stars will just call this too. Come on, check it down. Please, check it down. Okay, I think we're good now. Nope. Okay, well, let's assume he has a good low, because that's all I've got. Yeah. Alright, that's okay. Kind of surprised. Oh, they rivered a flush too, I see now. Kind of surprised they bet that, but oh well. Here we flop the ace, but of course have the worst kickers possible. So I'm folding. Even if we go runner low here, sometimes I chase the lows against certain players, especially if they bet the absolute minimum. Like here I had the nut low, but I don't trust this King Stars guy for sure. I feel like he could raise any of the streets if I was in it too. If he knows that I recognize that he's kind of trying to take over and we get involved a lot. Got a limper here, raise it up, and we isolate the limper. We have like 2.5 to 1. Nope. Alright. I'll take it. I don't know how big it is on the screen, but you can see down here by my mouse here, there's a name and some numbers. That's the player who won the last hand and the size of the pot. Huge pot here. Diamond flush. Wow. Definitely took my chip lead straight away. So that's, I'm sort of glad the Maniac is gone. Hopefully it can become a little bit more normal, but that's what happens when you chase the low so aggressively. Bet every street and shoved. I guess this is the definition of pot committed, but he had 9K left into like a 400,000 chip pot, but I don't know if he's expecting a fold. It's kind of funny. I mean, I understand, of course, you're just like, oh, whatever, all my chips are in, but maybe you could ladder up. Seems kind of silly. I'll call this. And flop 2 pair and a flush draw. Because it's just a draw though, I think I'm going to check. In pot limit especially, like if I bet here and they raise back, it's definitely more, like their bet sizing obviously will be bigger because the pot is bigger. Whether if I check, I mean, you're capping how much they can bet, so I'm good to call this, I think. Now a straight draw got there, but oh, and they bet the size of the pot too. They could have a low though, so I have exactly 2 to 1, but this may be a thinking hand. They could even have a higher 2 pair, I suppose. Obviously they're repping either a straight or the nut low. The thinking is if they're just betting away with the nut low, and I might have them beat on the high. But if another low card comes, low meaning as in high low, like a 7-4-3 deuce or ace here, they could make a straight, which would nullify my 2 pair. So I guess I have to fold this. Sometimes it seems a little too good to be true that he's betting into me like that when I have every draw you could think of. So hopefully that was a good laydown. Definitely sometimes folding is the best decision you can make. Seems backwards to think that folding your hand can help you win chips, but it definitely could later on. Here we flop, well, I don't know who calls it. Somebody called it the 3 and 2, but obviously we have a lot of full house possibilities. 3 and 2 because I have trip 10s and a pair of 8s, 3 of one and 2 of the other, which of course you're playing Omaha, so you just have 3 of kind right now, but take it down. Pretty easy to, I mean, it probably looked like I was just repping a straight, but that's okay. I'll take it. Here, any suited ace is probably good enough for a min raise and some low cards, although I'm not stoked about the low cards, but that's okay. Grodno, who hasn't played a hand yet, I thought they might shove that, but I guess I've only played 4 hands with them, it says. Oh, because we're 6-handed, of course. Forgot my stats reset. I'll check to the guy with a whole bunch of chips, because if I make a reasonable continuation bet here, he could raise it back really big and have mountains of chips behind still. That's a little bit more than 2/3. I'm not going to chase this. With a nut low draw maybe, but because I don't have that, I will be folding. It's a bit of a bummer having the big stack on your left, but what are you gonna do? He did get rid of that maniac for us. Here, I mean, double suited is helpful, but you're more so hoping for those middle cards that most players don't seem interested in because they either play hands like ace, deuce, 3, 4, or Broadway cards. So sometimes you can fool people by playing the ones in the middle. Probably important to note that I don't have two, well, I do have two pair, but it's aces and queens, not the queens and tens. And they have 15k back, and I'm not sure why they're not betting. But I won't give them the free chips in case they're waiting for me to do it. And he had nothing. Well, I was pointlessly scared. Nervous for no reason in that hand. So I guess they defended? Yeah, with jack 6, 4 deuce when they're so short. Because if they shoved, I'm probably, I might think about folding. Here we get involved with the big stack again, out of position, which sucks. But I'm pretty much prepared to give up on this hand anyway. As long as the player on my left has so many chips, I should probably be a bit of a nit, or at least not open pots with, unless I have really, really nice cards. This Grodno guy keeps saying hands, but it's not English. I don't know if it's his hands or, well, I don't know. Oh, pretty sure he's making fun of me though, right? 6, 7, 10 queen. I imagine that's clown. Very flattered you're noticing me, buddy. Can't help but notice he has 4.5 big blinds though, and I have way, way more. Maybe the first time I've ever been critiqued by somebody from Belarus before. I guess that's always exciting. Here I call down hoping for a diamond because I'm a giant fish. Hit nothing. Actually, I have like the definition of pretty much nothing, so I'll fold this. I probably should have been paying more attention to what I was doing. I'm gonna close my search. I was getting hollered at on Twitter that I got some people railing me. Thank you very much. Here, I think I'm gonna call just to try and knock this guy out, and hopefully the guy behind me complies. He seems to be in a pretty, he had the auto call on, so hopefully we can check this down. He seems to be in a pretty good mood to do that, which is always appreciated. And you got Acrops whatever. This player up here he got quartered. He split the low and he didn't have the high. Here's a pretty big open, but he is pretty short. So I'm gonna call actually, because I have good looking draws. They're both short. I'm going to call with my spade draw. It's not all that much to me. The pot odds are really good. There's definitely a possibility that I'm already beat, or they have the high straight, but I'm not folding this. And I think we're good. Yes, we won the high with the spade flush. I'll bring this up. My HUD blocks Omaha cards and full ring. Yeah, so let's fold this. They split the low, as you can see. Ace, deuce, 4, 5, 6, and the spade flush got me the high, which is great, on the river, which I appreciate very much. And they're going crazy now. They're going crazy. Two pair over here. I didn't see what was up there. 7, 6, 4, 3, ace. Acropus. Acro CPS. Just the 10. Just a pair of 10s. And then there were 5. I'm getting giddy. Like, it's hard to talk. This is exciting. Earlier I won a couple huge pots and I was running around my room pumping my fist. I'm probably celebrating more than the guys playing the WSOP main event final table are right now. But busting with king, king, queen, ace, that can't be too much fun. How about that? Nines and threes, two pair. Wow. Here I guess we have a nut, or not a nut, we have a low draw and that's pretty much it. But again, I don't really want to get involved with this guy unless I have a real solid draw. Like even if a 4 comes, that would make our lowest possible low, but we could still be beat by a wheel, so I'm gonna fold this. I guess I may have to, I can limp more hands though, if it's just me and Fisher NL here. They haven't raised a single hand yet. So, and as I say that, they go right ahead and raise it. I do want to play this. I think I'm gonna fold 2-to-1 pot odds, but I don't want to get involved with this guy unless I have the grandest of cards, and my low cards aren't very good, so let's assume because it's the first hand he's raised that he probably has a high better than my pair of 8s. I really wish I knew what this guy was saying. I should copy and paste the chat and Google Translate it later. I wonder if I've been called all kinds of funny names. Definitely possible. Should I call him odd and make him speak English? Maybe he doesn't know English. That might upset him. It could be good for us. Here we have a straight now, but obviously the flush got there. And because this was checked and check and check and check, checks everywhere, I'm gonna fold. There's the flush. And Grodno got the low. Definitely checking here. Don't see much point in raising awful cards against a player with a ton more chips than you. And flop the second nut straight. I'll bet into him with that. I think we have to at some point. So let's type some weird number just to bug him. Normally my hotkeys would do weird numbers for me, but the higher the blinds get, the percentages make more sense, so they actually become real numbers. Called, which, he probably has either ace-queen or a club draw, but I think he's on to me now. He's just always got an answer. The problem with calling this is the pot would go to like 110,000 and then he could bet a third of my stack on the river, so once again, this guy's starting to be a real pain. Hopefully one of the other players who have position on him can figure it out, but I don't think they're nearly aggressive enough to take him down. Here's a raise though. Hopefully they get involved. And not with that hand. A nice hand on the button for us would be nice too, but I'm not going to play this one. And I'll see what he had there. He showed the small blind hand, or the big blind hand he folded, and I don't blame him for folding that. I had his outs too. Queens, sixes everywhere. Probably good I didn't play along with that in position. A lot of my outs are gone. Now he's all in with Queen 3, 7, 4, and diamonds, and that is no good. Full house for Mr. Got all the chips. But definitely gonna steal it here aggressively. And then number 3. We're pretty deep too. Which probably doesn't favor me. I've ran through the tournament pretty deep, but I think I'm better in shove fold mode. I have to concentrate a lot to think about conserving chips. This is the player. Yeah, this is the player that slow played last time, so I'm not gonna bet into him. Yeah, and flop 2 pair, and it was good. You can see over here in the lobby I'm in 3rd now, but well, let's put this down here so it doesn't move around. I'm in 3rd now, but we're so deep, I'm not bothered or anything. And happy to see a free flop with this. I mean, more aces kind of stinks. And I got aces and 10s, but no, I'm good. How about that? All right. Here I don't like it so much because the Jack 9 8 kind of like they are each other's is outs, and 3 suited cards doesn't look good for my flush possibility, so I'm actually gonna fold. And I would have flopped 2 pair here, but obviously I didn't have any diamonds, so I don't feel so bad about this. It's interesting they didn't bet though. Oh, now he goes. Here I guess I'll raise this. Especially so deep, I don't really need to wait for like ace, ace, deuce, 3, you know, great high cards and great low cards. Just great high cards is a good start. This is interesting. They could be wheel chasing, but I think I'm gonna go for max here, I think. If I get set over set, it's obviously a pain, but yeah, I'm gonna raise the pot, raise the maximum. The flop bet was just 2/3 of the pot, which is normal. But now that I've raised it the maximum here, like they're getting just 2 to 1, but still a fair amount. It's around 40% of this guy's stack, right? Yeah, awesome. That's great, actually. Again, not that it really matters because we're so deep, but here in second place. That's good. I say it doesn't matter because we're so deep. Much like on the first hand of a tournament, if you start a tournament with 100 big blinds and you lose the first hand, there's a raise or something and a call and you fold your big blind. You're down to 99 big blinds, and if your table was the first table to complete the first hand, you're now in last place of the tournament. But it doesn't really matter. Here I c-bet, and he went ahead and raised me. I wonder what that is, actually. I don't have any stats on him from these hands, really, yet. I do have a killer low draw and an overpair. An overpair isn't always good in Omaha, though. There's just so much other stuff that could happen. Like, he could have some weird two-pair or whatever, so... And he raised back, like, big, too. Almost as big as he could have. Like, 100K would have been the maximum, I think, right? Or 120. So, I think I have to fold this, but... I'm really not sure about that one, actually. Speaking of good draws, here's a pretty good draw. And because I have the button, I'm happy to hopefully mess around here a little bit. And now we have the double nuts, meaning we have the nut straight and the nut low, or nut as some people call it. It's interesting that if they called hoping for low cards like that, I mean that would be one of the perfect low cards unless they had like deuce 3, in which case they had the nut low draw at the time, but now they don't anymore. But they called it, which is interesting. Now I'm losing to a higher straight. They could have 5-7 and have me beat. But because I have one of the 5s, I'm not too worried about that. I'm good with calling all in here. Yeah, 5-7. So we got the low, we chop it. And he flopped trip 9s too, so that's why he wasn't going anywhere. Double suited aces, I'll raise the maximum for sure. Flop trip aces. I'm not too scared about the 8-9, like if they had a straight draw with the 8-9, because I have 2 of the outs here. But I don't. Let's bet small. Yeah. That's interesting. I'm not going anywhere. I wonder what they could have. 2-pair or set, of course, is always possible. Like if they have ace-9 or ace-8, that's great for me, but I'm not folding. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, just the ace. Oh, ace-9. I'm sorry. But full house for me. And he got a very nice. That's good. I will be kind. Right away. Pretty good hand to start with. Let's try. I guess I could raise 3 times, but let's just start min raising. And I'm gonna call this. I don't like raising back because I only have Like, I'm not really playing any of the board cards yet, so. And he checks now. He may have just been trying to donk the flop, maybe. Like, just trying to get me off of it. But I'm not too worried about any draws here because I have a nice low draw and there's no high draw going on, so. See if I can get him to fold now. Yeah. So his bet, that was so weird. I guess he just wanted to try and get me to fold. Here I'm thinking about 3-betting. Well, maybe not. Because he did raise 3 times, or 3x, 3 times the big blind, so I wonder if he has a pair, which I guess has me beat. Just in case weird board cards come, let's not try and get myself into a whole bunch of trouble. And see what he does now. And he bets the pot. Okay. Problem with this is he could have like he could have raised 3 times the big blind because of cards that aren't on the board. Like if he had queen, queen, 8, 2, for example. In which case, if I improve my hand, I might still be losing. So I guess I'm gonna fold. I just don't like continuing with just top pair and not a really nice low draw. If he raised me 3 times, I'm gonna raise him 3 times. That seems only fair. And we flop 2 pair here. Wonder if he'll chase the low. We have a spade draw now. I think I'm still betting though. He could have continued with low cards for sure. Let's make it, yeah. Often you can float one street in pot limit because obviously the pot is smaller, but once you bet out on the turn, yeah, that becomes a problem for him. Sorry, I was reading Twitter. I'm not gonna play this out of position and stuff, so that's a fold right there. This is not a fold. This is definitely a raise. And just an overpair, but I'll happily check this because they checked pretty quick. So smells fishy. Half the pot here. Yeah, I don't think I'm good here. And I don't have a low draw anymore. Well, I didn't on the flop actually. So I'm gonna fold. I think. Yeah. Here again, I'm not excited about the 3 suited cards, but my straight cards don't cancel each other out so much the last time I talked about that, so I'll call this one. And top pair and a gut shot, it's not the best. Yeah, they bet the size of the pot, I'm not continuing this. That's better. Top pair here and the second nut flush draw. They donk again. It's so weird. Maybe they'll do the betting for me. Thing is, if I don't improve, I'm happy to keep the pot small and not raise it back here. And if I do improve and they're doing the betting for me, I'm more than happy to let them do the betting for me. Take the guesswork out of sizing for sure. And we turn 2 pair here. Now they check. I think I can take it away. We've seen this charade before. I don't think they donk the flop with just low cards. It's pretty bad to chase a low draw with only 1 low card on the flop. 2 I can understand, it happens all the time, but not just 1. So we take that. I shouldn't be so afraid when they do that, maybe. Here I'm just gonna fold, I think. I don't really want to chase straight cards, and I don't want to draw to half of the low either, or anything like that. So half the pot, I mean, not half the low. Lots of straight draw possibilities here. Again, only 1 low card. Hopefully that helps our decision to try and get them to fold. Here, double suited. And yes, nice low cards. A good low draw, I guess, but not the best. We only bet half the pot, which is interesting. I think I'll come along for 1 street, I think. We have 2 pair now. Let's see if they bet again. They may bet their low cards here. Yeah. But I definitely improve with my 2 pair, so wonder if I might raise the max here. If I raise big enough, they're all in. So I think I'm good, actually. I'm confident in this, I'm feeling good. And now I'm not. Thankfully, when you make crazy decisions like that, it is high-low. They had a set of 8s, which, I mean, makes their whole story make sense, but thankfully we got the low there. Or it would have been quite the shift. Bottom pair and up and down draw here. I'm going to bet another weird number. I really don't know if there's any point in this. Sometimes people they might think of it as a different bet or a different type of bet just because the ending is weird. Like they don't think about the math as much if it has a 9 at the end of it, or it's, especially with such big numbers like this with all the chips in play. Like if I were to bet here like 57,645 or 49, stuff like that. Here we made 2 pair, the biggest 2 pair we could have, I guess, on the last 2 cards here, but straight draws and stuff, I'm not gonna call this. And we're on the break. So I'll stop the video, stretch, try and go do a victory lap around, get some of the crazy energy out. Hopefully we can ship it after the break.